You can send her on her way whenever you're ready. Should we send him back or
yeah,
put him in an aquarium and take him home as a pet?
Yeah, either way. Ready?
Yeah. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. 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 Testing, testing. I will admit that I started drinking again. That joke has a low hit rate. I opened a car door. It really does sound like it sounds like me in college, or someone who gets beaten. We're tying the swim bug. I was wrapping up at my daughter's Taekwondo class. Wrapping up. I was getting into my car looking for her BB. Now BB is, it used to be Pink Bear, and we started calling it BB or we started calling it PB because my daughter was so enamored with it and somewhat dependent on it that, and the thing is just, it goes on the end of pacifier. It's about yay big and somewhat neutrally colored. It's not like bright pink. It's like, at this point, this blends in with everything. I'm getting rabbit. And also, evidencing why I am opting for the shirt mic. I had it rigged up here, but I just don't think that... Oh yeah, baby is now waking up. That makes sense. Right, so I was handing her off to her mom, and which sounds impersonal, but that's just that's a day in the life. And I was going into I could not find BB, which is just a that statement or that state of being has comprised, I mean, untold hours, really, of my life and her mom's life. Ex-wife feels impersonal. I mean, between the two of us, I really, just doing some rough math, say an hour. I'll have to get back to you on that one, but I mean, yeah, like very easily, you know, a week of human life has been spent in the I can't find BB phase, and now it's taken Now it's taken a physical toll. It used to only be emotional, but isn't that how abuse goes? One day it just turns without you even seeing it coming. So I had my son, and was getting in my car. I couldn't find BB. I'm looking around. I thought I gave it to her mom, and she's looking in the back seat. I go around the car to get in the front seat, and I mean, dude, maybe because I'm tired. Like, it's such a dumb, it's such a dumb move. I mean, it doesn't take more than saying it. I opened a car door into my head. Like, you can French that up however you want. But here's the thing. What I actually I got chills thinking of we'll call it the moment of impact. It was, I'm like scrambling around, baby's crying in the back seat. So I have pace. I have, I do apologize for the extracurriculars on the audio. I'm moving with pace, and that goes for both, like my body movement, e.g. my head, jamming my head into the front seat of my car, and for the pace, red speed, red force, red momentum. Excuse me. I might have to do some editing there. The momentum that I guess right hand pulling the car door as I'm trying to look down. Dude, I was holding my head and just thinking, my ex-wife is going to have to take my son back home to my girlfriend. We all have to go to the hospital. I was just waiting. I had my hand on my head and was just lightly swearing, just waiting for it to, start pouring blood. It was a shocking impact. And so it did start bleeding a little bit, and but thankfully I had my daughter's mother. I don't want to be using names, so it's like she comes around the car and heard some happenings. She was on the other side looking in the back seat, and comes around and sees me holding my head and I'm swearing, and she's like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, shit, oh shit, oh shit, man." I opened the door into my head, and she's known me for now like 11 years. She couldn't help but immediately start laughing, which there may have been some, I don't know. It's something that I think is very funny. Like, when someone does something so stupid and hurts themselves not seriously. Just enough to be, you get hot sauce in your eyes, or you do something dumb and you hurt yourself a little bit, but you're okay. And here's where my humor gets very dark. It's even funnier. Okay, now some loose whips there. I am recalling that my shanks do not like. I got the spawn fly fish. I think those are the 18s and the 25s. And the diameter, the wire gauge does not like, or the eye of the size 6 Hamagato I'ma get 'em B10S6 does not like the wire gauge, or the wire gauge does not like the, there we go. So I'm switched to gel spun and kind of mash that back to keep the eye real open. If there's any thread going up against that, it is not happy. So yeah, it's even funnier when you just add in general lack of sleep, and like I had been changing my almost 5-month-old in the parking lot, not because he peed before Taekwondo, and he was just, he's screaming in the back seat, can't find BB for the millionth time. My daughter's, well, I want to stay with Dad. And yeah, what's up, dude? And then I just dome myself like a. I mean, that's like in the movies where someone gets hit with the butt of a gun or something. Like, dude, I rocked myself. And so the context around not just opening the car door into my head, which is funny independently, but the context around it made it even funnier. So we will have to pause here, and I will be back to, I think, I'm not sure. I got 2 backs of swim bugs and some feathers parsed out. We've donated a couple recently. I have a mess of drunks, and so I'm just kind of building out the swim bug arsenal. So I might have a baby with me. God dang, we are cleared for takeoff. And action. Speak louder than words. You know what we're gonna do? Just leave it like that. Leave it focused on... There was a time not long ago where I was cold. That's not where I was going initially, but where I would be all finicky. That was me adjusting stuff. Man, there's still just... There's a big part of me that doesn't like the contrasting background, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? Let me pull that out. It doesn't matter. It is later on in the same day, which is fun. And for a different iteration of the child sleeping, the child is sleeping. Which is nice, but and really just went down. I think that I'm continuing this video for the purposes of doubling up on both tying flies that I want and content creation as a means of advertising for guided trips. Book your trips at elliswardflies.com. That's not really true. It's contacting me on my cell phone. I guess you can, you know, there's a form. See, it just doesn't like... I want this articulation, I want this shank to... It feels somewhat unfortunate. But, why is it hard? Things are hard. Can I blame something else? Yeah, it just, I'm not sure that I like that. But another reason that, this thing is fucking stuck now, that I'm choosing to continue just slogging out another day on this planet and not succumbing to that sweet telephone pole is a respect for telecommunication workers that it just feels rude. Bro, yeah, this is fully jammed up. It's proof. This is proof that I showered at some point between the last video and this one, or the beginning of this video. Anyways, I'm tying swim bugs. I got a couple trips coming up. And yeah, I think last left, I was talking about how, you know, I got 3. This is, okay, we're here. All right, we're here. Everyone, calm down. Wow. All right, so I'm doing 3 swim bugs. I have a gaggle of drunks. That shank either fits in very snugly or does not fit in well. It has been ostracized from the group. it's pretty few and far between that I'm tying, you know, a lot of my tying, and forgive how repetitive this might be, either with other videos or for those folks that have been on my boat. A massive part of guiding is my own experience fishing, and a very important part of my fishing is tying. Tom Schaefer, guides for Striper, Maine. I talked about it last video. Holler at him if you're ever up there. He and I were discussing this at length. You get into topics when you're on a boat with someone for 8 to 9 hours, 2 days in a row. But he kind of pointed out that my path, I guess, relative to guiding, my tying path is somewhat inverted, in that tying is really what got me. Like, without tying, fishing becomes way less fun for me. And without tying and fishing, guiding is like, I want to know, like, with my own hands, what a fly is doing and why we're fishing it. And like, it's kind of, I want to say bank to bank. That feels like a decent summary. Like, on a bank to bank or a zone to zone basis, you know, where this is also like, you know, low water, high water, night. You know, we don't just float the river, and I guess no one really does. We don't just park below a riffle and, you know, find the bottom and then keep moving. And like, you know, it's some rainbows and maybe we'll get a brown. It's like, this bank, I expect to see X based on conditions, you know, A through Z. Probably is around, you know, somewhere in the 26. That's too much UV flex. I like the UV flex on the back. Careful to not spread them. I like these things. They're pretty vertical. If you spread them too much, this thing gets. I showed this dude to Tommy Lynch as like a, hey man, the drunk really inspired me to do something similar but different. And he, of course, in a show of humility that I've seen often with him, was like, you know, barely even acknowledging the similarities. It's like, it's a couple cousins away from like a mini triple with a short head. That's really the genesis of the swim bug, is tweaking drunk, triple drunk, mini drunk, and then like kind of incorporating a T-bone and just getting that head jerk, and then trying to reduce spin and swivel, and keep some of the dog walk, but reduce some of the dig, you know, to be able to fish real shallow if I wanted to. And then we get to play with hooks and epoxy too. Anyways, yeah, if you this thing's slimsy. He called it the butter knife when he looked at it, and it gets real slim in the back. And so if you puff those out like you might do with musky flies or whatever, it can encourage wonkiness versus encouraging swim. And we like to encourage swim. Where is my fucking ice dub? was like, oh, I used some yesterday or earlier today, but what I did was I picked up a glob that was sitting right there, so I didn't have my bearings. Sometimes I will feel like dancing. There's a book that my daughter, I have for my daughter that goes through feelings, and you know, the end is quite touching. You, regardless of how you're feeling or what you're feeling, it's important that you share your feelings with someone, a parent, a teacher, etc., which I very much like. And throughout the book, I think it's trying to like normalize that you can feel whatever, whenever. I feel like doing something fun with a friend, and it's a picture of this little kid holding a leash attached to a dog on a skateboard. It's like, yeah. Yeah, I feel like doing that. I feel like, I mean, the feeling, I think it's a feeling that is associated with, there's a weird psychological something involved in guiding, and I don't know if there's some sort of external validation, but it feels more, you know, as always, shout out Jack for this one, but this, something just deep within that, when you're fishing, so we'll get to the weird guiding part of this, but when you're fishing and you're fishing a streamer and you elicit a predatory response, how about that for an Instagram name and or description? Tying predator flies to elicit, streamer junkie bent on eliciting predatory responses. Hashtag articulation nation. Man, I joke, but I'm not a sellout. Okay? But yeah, as the angler, right, when you get that, you just see this fucking dog come out. And honestly, with the big ones, I'd say it's an easy 50%. Where are we at in the time here? This is gonna take for the next couple days. Easy 50%. You're getting the shark. You're getting it's a musky follow, you know? As much as the musky world and the trout worlds in many ways don't mix, man, they are really so similar. What doesn't really mix is the trout fly fishing, and then like the reality of what going after hunting, right? Not just which whatever you can do with nymphs at the top of a tailwater in late November and December. Trigger warning. Like the reality of going out for the dogs, for the big dogs. And I promise I'm not trying to make myself feel cool. That's literally what everything is. You'd think it'd be about like getting a chick to think I'm cool, but Lord knows this is not the route for that. Okay? If anyone's doing that for that, if anyone's doing this for that, I would encourage you to keep doing this, but not for that. I want to emphasize, this will not make chicks think you're cool. I cannot stress that enough. You got to be cool in other ways. This is a tough look, okay? So going after browns and musky and all that, from an objective point of view, right? You're gone 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day, completely consumed with what you're doing. And then when you're back, it's not out of your system. It's not like, oh, I'll go on some benders, right? Where I'm trying to convince myself that it's real, but it's just not. I was gonna say like, oh, I'll go on some benders where it's like, 3, 4, 5 days of musky fishing in a row, maybe some guiding, maybe I'm fishing on my own for 1 or 2 of the days, and I'm just beat to hell, and I just want to cozy up and watch a show, and definitely not tie just a slightly smaller, and maybe one version that's flashier and one version that's slightly less flashy bucktail changer in like a tan, but not like a light tan, more of like a more of like a light brown than a tan, really, with like tip towards the olive, or maybe just throw a couple. Like transitioning to olive from tan with some white on the back, and should I do like a hot yellow on one of them? I should just do a double B. Like I should definitely have more singles too. That's what you get after like this person should be dead. At a minimum, just ready for a little bit of a break. No, that's not. So you can convince yourself all you want that, well, someone out there, like, yeah, there's probably some fly fishing couples or fishing couples where it's just like both are that, but like just general public, like you're off the I'm off the reservation, okay? So just keep that in mind, that this isn't about I think it's why there's so much ego involved in the fly fishing, tying, guiding world. It's like we're making hair dolls here. We're making cat toys, and most of it can double as jewelry, and we want to. God, you go out. Yeah, I mean, you look at the. Let's just say we got a hidden cam going on or a GoPro stuck to my head on the boat, and it's tough. It is. Just streamer fit, just going out and chucking streamers, and honestly, doing it with lures too, with the spin rod. It's definitely harder with the fly, but we're not floating down the middle of the river, you know? I am taking us under and through trees because I want to hit that root ball up under there, a place where herons and ospreys can't get, a place where I've seen a dog come out, you know, twice in the last year, or we're ripping through this zone and there's back cast issues, and I'm telling you, you know, we're not casting here, but we need a couple shots coming up, and you can barely hear me. The water's moving. I'm back rowing, sliding us to the left, you know, dumping over a ridge, and there's that, you know, there's that one shot, and it's 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of that, and it's, you know, some days it's 1, 2, 3 hours of just nothing. Muskie, 4, 5, 6 hours of just nothing. And then you have to have everything in order on the, it's been hundreds or more of the exact same thing. And then you do it again, and then something different happens. And I'm very good at reminding people that they just lifted their rod tip just a little bit. When you go from this to this, when you take that rod tip, I'm pointing right at you, that's a strip set. If I come over here, that's a trout set. Strip set, trout set. You can be pulling from over here if you're the fish, and I'm pulling here, whoop, my rod bends. It decreases the moment of momentum transfer just in that hook point to the face. It just spreads all the force out. It minimizes, it reduces the maximum output from, you know, I can break 20-pound mono to you can't lift a 5-pound dumbbell. So all that just, and that's why I'm, you know, I press all these little things. Keep pointing attention. I know the fly's getting swept. Don't point at the fly, right? The fly's getting swept, and if you keep pointing at the fly, your rod tip's doing this every time you strip. And so when a fish eats and you're already doing this with, you may as well be doing the jerk strip thing, which it is intentionally taking your strip set away, and that's fine and dandy in fast water for an, you know, up to 14 to 16 inch fish. Dude, you get those big boys out, or big girls, or big theys, and especially in the froggier water, you don't have, there's no opposing forces, it's just your hook set. Oh God, the rod lift, it hurts me. But back to my original point, right? Whatever it is that you see that that's the fly, I think, dog walking, and then that's the big brown sort of sharking up behind and underneath it. Oh, something happens if that doesn't move it for you. And I'm not, you know, I'm not being gross about it. I'm just saying it. If that's not moving it, if that doesn't, all right, still not, it's just there's phallic references. If that doesn't move the needle for you, if your needle isn't moving, gets the juices flowing, you know what I'm saying. If that doesn't do it for you, dude, you're built in a different way, and that's fine. Play pickleball. I don't know. I feel like if pickleball is exciting, this is going to do it for you. I don't know what, if that doesn't do it for you, I don't know what does. Now, the tricky part is, you do have to get there, which is challenging because it requires a lot of time in order to get to get flies in the right places where fish may or may not be, when they may or may not be eating, so when they're going to eat, it's not dues paid. It's not like, oh, I just keep stripping, it'll happen. It's you do have to be doing the right thing in the right places, and the fish is willing to participate. And dude, it's a game of inches. Yes, you can go out there and just strip into nothing, and that's great. But it's also like this process of, and for the guys who have gone through it with me, like, it depends. People all learn differently, and so it's, I'm going 200 miles an hour from the rip just because they're continuing to pick it up, so I continue to put it down. Others just take some more time, or they learn differently. But it's like I go through so much stuff, and I really, it's taken a lot. I think it's taken a lot of reps for me to not feel bashful or get sick of talking when it's not happening, because too many times it happens, and we're not prepared. And so I will say, the days where it's just it doesn't, or we're getting the odd non-commitment type bite, and maybe a smaller fish shows up. There's a lot of smaller fish. I mean, when the bite's really on and it's not post-spawn, which we're clearing out of right now, you'll get plenty of 9, 10. I mean, you'll get 7-inch fish. You'll get 7-inch browns eating that thing. I would say one in 50, and that might be high. It could be closer to 1 in 100. I have to close that gap up again with GSP. It's probably 1 in 100 that are rainbows eating streamers. But like average fish size, I don't know. It depends on which section and how bitey. Like post spawn, I would say average size is like 16 to 18. But typical and that's really not true. It's probably more like 18 to 20, because we're not moving all that many, and a lot of the times we're getting that 22 plus. But a lot in that 18 to 20. And like on a normal day of fishing, that typically means that means it's pretty bitey, and you're probably moving a dozen or more. And really, I forget when I said this is going to take forever, but we're actually so far away from that at this point that this video is just going to go into the next trip, which is in 12 hours. If you're moving a lot of fish, you're probably moving smaller fish. If you're moving smaller fish, you're probably fishing the upper middle section of tailwaters, for example. If you're moving a lot of fish, and they're big, it's just that's a crazy good day of fishing. And like it's both paying your dues so that you're good enough to capitalize, and also understand, like, you're not going out and just moving that many fish. Just, oh, we had a good day of streamer fishing, we moved 20. Sure, that might happen, middle river, upper rivers. But largely speaking, when you are moving that many fish, they are smaller. And then you just get those days. That's where part of it's like putting in the work. But another big part of it is like, the bite windows and the good days, the good condition days that, oh, baby, why are you crying? That just, they don't happen, it's not all the time. So, you know, by default, are we digging the, like, we're not really up close and also my head's chopped off? We're going to finish strong. What? With the lean back. There's probably some unsavory items. That's not true. It's like one of those selfies with like the mirror stain and someone's dirty underwear hanging in the background. All right, we're just dropping down to 15 millimeter. Good old-fashioned Flyman shanks, which I do believe that company or whoever owns it has not been a good business partner or person to like any of the tires who have done the work to give them products to sell. Baby's making noises. So look, point being, you got to go out and work for it. It's not easy. Did I say? I mean, you do look cool doing it. It's just all the stuff to get there is not what I don't think people look for in a partner outside of the intangibles, you know, commitment, hard work, integrity. I've met very few like dedicated tires, guys that like fishing streamers. I really don't like the whole streamer junkie or streamer angler, streamer fisherman. The guys that like fishing, musky dudes as well. Like, I've met very few that I would qualify as not having integrity. You can be good at it and also be a bag of shit, but most of the ones who are into it, they're into it because they like the hard work and the reward and the, you know, going out and doing the thing that isn't the just going out and I mean, they like getting their asses handed to them is the thing. And so if you're into that, if you enjoy just, if fun for you is feeling and tasting and smelling a massive reduction in social credit, financial well-being, relationships, that's why you meet so many addicts or, you know, recovering whatever, or you know, on the boat. It's, yeah, you know, I haven't, it's been about 7 years since I stopped drinking, and you'll get the, oh, good for you, like, I need to, it's like, I know you do, buddy. I know you do. I could tell that from our conversation last week. So that feeling of watching that fish come out and shark, and then little tap, 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 tap. Sharking one way, sharking it, tap, tap, big kill. Tap, tap, big kill. Eating it sideways, 3 feet from the end of the rod, basically in the boat already. Yeah, dude, it's board games. It's, you're playing, I was gonna put rabbit in with this, but yeah, we're gonna do it separate. Get good at checkers, you know? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different thing. And then there's the psychological quandary that is guiding in this capacity, because I know I've talked about the hype man thing, but the enjoyment that I get that's the bizarre. But you can look at it in a good light, which I tend to do. Why wouldn't I? It is me. But yeah, there's something oddly, I'm not sure what, teaching someone else how to do something and then watching it come to fruition, and watching them watch this animal come out from a log jam and eat this thing attached to a string that they're holding. It doesn't get old, and I only want to do it more. And it doesn't matter how many hard days I have. It's just so fun. And then, like, on the, the warm and fluffy side of things, because of everything that goes into it, right? The tying interest, you start to whittle down, largely speaking, this population of humans, people who I would like and who might like me. Like, if there's a Venn diagram of general population, like, we start to, you really zoom in to, like, folks who would get along when you start looking at, okay, do they like to do this? All right, it doesn't matter. A lot of stuff starts to fall away. Yeah, do you drink? Do you not drink? Odds are you still have the same opinion about it. Do you watch football? Again, it's like, you might, but you probably don't care all that much, because that's a lot of time on Sundays. You're not coming out on the boat wearing your Patriots jersey. That guy doesn't go out, and he might go out. He'll go on a guided trip every once in a while, but he doesn't go out and be gone for 12 hours only to come back just exhausted and go straight to the vice. Just exhausted. Hey, honey. Huh? You're back late? I know. I'll be in bed in 3 hours. Do you have any? Where's my nicotine? He might do that with other things, right? It's not this. So, man, I'm excited for the next couple days. I do forget what I was talking about before going on that little oh yeah, that I'm tying 3 swim bugs. I'm typically tying, and that's, yeah, we'll go full circle and then close this off here. I'm tying with something in mind, right? I want to have, this for this scenario, and this for this scenario, and this for this scenario, and this for, and those scenarios are both, not both, they're all angler dependent, condition dependent, which might be same exact water but different skies, same sky, different waters, rivers, sections, species, etc. I'm not going to be fishing a swim bug with Yamagatsu Gama Yiram size 6 B10S, if, like, when we're, right in the striper zone. That I'm going to start to get into hook pressure here pretty quick, but fine. If you get a good hook set on whatever and it gets to the bend of a size 6 Hamagato B10S, probably have to mash the bar, real clean strip set. If it gets all the way to the bend and you are, boom, strip set and then up, I don't like that for striper. But it's hard. It's hard once you get into the boom strip set. Like, yeah, you can straighten out a B10S6. I got to. Once you lift that rod up, you're not doing anything to that. If it's onto the bend, if you don't set well and you're applying pressure at that, at the barb or just at the point, yeah, you'll bend the hell out of it. That was related to something that I was talking about right before it. I promise. Right, so I'm tying these bugs for a reason, and that reason is to feel like a cool person and impress my girlfriend by recounting how poorly a stranger set a hook on a fish of undisclosed size. That's what all this is. There's half a dead duck and feathers sorted out there so that someone thinks I'm cool. And I'll tell you what, I'm doing a sneaky good job at it.